Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is your boy, Thron's Revenge here with another video. You might notice something different this time. We're in studio, and it's not going really stupid fast. So this is not a video of me speedrunning a build. This is instead a video of me explaining to you how I use Studio, some very basic Studio information, and then hopefully I will add on to this kind of formula a little bit later. So currently, to explain what I've been working on, I'm working on a secret project. The parts for that project should be coming in soon. I will be making a video on it as soon as everything arrives. Until then, just wait. Streams are kind of taking a hiatus a little bit. I have some IRL stuff going on right now, so hopefully those will get back on track eventually. So we'll basically go straight into it. So if you haven't used Studio before, Studio is a computer-aided design software. It is basically the same as Lego Digital Designer, but this is much better. So basically I'm going to take you through a really quick crash course of all of the different ways that this program works, explain to you the basic icons, how to use it, that kind of stuff. So we'll start with the camera controls. The camera controls are done by, you will have your cursor right here. You right click and hold to look around your plane. And then you do scroll wheel to zoom. To be able to move across the plane, you will hold shift, click left click, and that'll move the plane around, right? To explain some of the top icons real quick, you have a couple of things. You have a hinge tool, a clone tool, hide, connect, and collision. We won't deal with these ones right now because they're not really important for starting to use Studio. I can explain them later, but right now we'll start with these. So for the hinge tool, if you have something that is rotating, let me give you an example. We'll take a tile, we'll take a plate of some sort, plate modified, this one, like that. So with the hinge tool, I can click this, and I can hinge this. And this is based off of degrees. It'll have a snap position. It'll do every 5 degrees. You can move your cursor away from the blue, and it'll be any increment. And then you can put in your own number. For example, if I want to go back to 0, 0, enter, done. So that's that one. Then the clone tool, if, let's say, for example, I have brick, click clone, and it'll just keep cloning everything I've cloned that is selected. That's how that one works. Hide tool will just not show you what you're looking at. So if I click hide, I click it, it is hide. Then you click show all to show it again. So those are very straightforward. Connect, you connect the points. It'll stack on top. So I don't really use those very often. The collision tool just turns collision on or off. When collision is off, things will not work the way they actually should in the real world. So when you're connecting 2 bricks and collision is off, you can have your brick literally inside the other brick. You don't want that. So usually I'd recommend turning collision on. Continuing on, the Lego. So right here, you'll see where all your Lego is kept. It is cataloged in the same way that Bricklink catalogs everything. So brick round, brick modified. Usually when I am working, I like to have all of these open. So I'll have the brick round open, I'll have this brick modified open, the slopes open. I will have bars usually open, and that's it. That's all I usually tend to use. I don't use Technic that often unless I'm building really big, so Technic I usually have closed unless I really need it. You'll also find your decorated bricks here as well. So for example, if there is a slope that is decorated, I'll scroll down past the normal slopes. You'll see the decorated slopes after the normal slopes. If you want to turn that off, you click decorated bricks on or off. That'll then simplify it to just the base pieces with no decorations on them at all. The other thing you can do is if you want to change the base color, Studio will always default to white. So if I put a brick down, bam, it's always white. If you want to change that, you'll click this square right here. And let's say I change it to black. Now all the parts that I put down are black. I usually always keep it at white because it's the default, so I don't tend to play around with that too often. So I'd recommend just white, so that way when you're changing the colors as you move, you can better know roughly what you have added that's new and what you have added that is finalized. And that's how I do it. I do white is not finalized, colored is finalized, unless the model is white, and then I'll switch the colors. To get the Legos from the left side to the main plane, you will click the part that you're looking for, and it'll drag it into it, and then when you want to place it, you will left click. It'll keep accepting that piece, so I'll keep clicking and putting down that piece. If you want to stop, you'll just click escape real quick, and that'll let go of that. So that's basically the Lego section. You can also change this section, which is the thumbnail size. That'll change the size of these images. Other than that, I don't really play with this. Masters just shows you if you have custom parts or new parts you've added manually. That I do not do. I do not use custom parts except once. So I cannot help you with that. If you're looking to do that, I'd recommend the Bionicle community. They use a ton of custom parts. Color selection. Let's say I have 3 bricks and I want to change the bricks' colors. The best way to do that is you will click the brick. This is one way to do it. You'll click the brick and it'll show the colors. Now, if you're connected to Studio, or you're connected to Bricklink, sorry, it'll show you the price of every single color. So it'll have a $sign next to it. $2 signs is fairly expensive. $3 signs is pretty expensive. When you see a single dash, that means it's like crazy expensive that it's not displaying, right? So like trans blue violet, yeah, $6. It's ridiculous. So usually you could do it like this. This is how I tend to do it, so I know what's cheap. If I'm trying to do a specific thing, like let's say, for example, I want the whole model to be gray, you can drag left click the whole thing, and then you can do light bluish gray. Another way to do it is by, I'll switch this back to white. Another way to do it is by using the painter tool. So if you click the paint selected icon and you choose a color, let's say aqua, everything I click will then be turned into aqua. So that's one way to do it. Another thing you could do, if you already have a color available, you can click the drip tool, you can select a color, then you can go back to the painter and then color those again. So that's how I use the painting. That's basically it for the painter stuff. It's not super complicated for the painting. Now to use Studio proper. So let's say I want to build something, right? Let's say I do... what's like a fun thing? We'll do something like this. Yep. Nope. And that. Yeah, you're gonna see me build live. Which doesn't always look good. Okay. So let's say I want to copy this. So the standard works, you do Control-C, Control-V. That is now copied, right? That works on Studio, same as a lot of other programs. That's not special. The other item that is very useful is the Copy and Mirror tool. So that button is right here. You'll click Copy and Mirror, and it'll make the opposite of it across its, like, most right face, or whatever face it thinks makes the most sense. You can also change it over here as well. So that tool is very useful, but it's always down here. Copy and Mirror is always down here. You can set your own hotkeys to this. I don't, because I don't really use... I'm not a person who uses hotkeys often. I'm very visual, so I like the buttons. Clicking the buttons works really well for me. If you want to go back, Control-Z works well. So Control-Z, bam. And then to delete, I just drag and then click the delete icon. What else is very important? I think that's the gist of it. That's like the important stuff. I can go through rendering really quickly, so I can show you how that works. So let's say I make some sort of model. This will be my model. It's not a great model. Let's say I build this little hill, right? So to render, you'll click render, and it'll bring you into this menu. So I usually always keep it at preset. This will decide the size that you want. So like 4:3 aspect ratio, 800 by 600 pixels. I usually recommend going bigger. My minimum, I'll try to do 1080 or higher. Anything 1080 or higher is my recommendation. So 1:1 works. This will decide your format. So let's say I'm doing 16:9. This will put it up. This will put it down. So 16 by 9. This is 9 by 16. And then you'll set your render quality. I usually set it to high. I keep this at default. I don't touch any of this. Rendering device, what you will use to render. I usually use my GPU. If you don't have a GPU, I would recommend trying your CPU. To change how this is oriented, you'll right-click and drag, and that'll position in different ways. So that's how I custom orient my stuff. And then you'll click render. So I'm not going to click render because if I do, it'll bog down this video and it'll be all fucky. So, but when you click render, it'll display a little command prompt that'll start a program, and then you'll see the picture being designed. No, your computer is not dying. It's fine. It's supposed to do that. So that's the basics of rendering. And we just delete that. So that's pretty much all you need to know. Maybe one other thing that I can show you that is also important is submodels. So let's say I have this weird thing, right? There we go. So let's say I have this weird thing, right? If I want to attach this, I can't do piece by piece because they are connected differently. So what you would do is you'd go up here, you'd right-click, submodel, create. And so this is now connected together. So if I were to make instructions, I will make a video about instructions later because that is a whole separate can of worms. So this will just stack on top of this now. And then if I want to change this, I just double-click. And now I can change in just the submodel instead of the whole model. So if I were to add pieces, right, like this, and then move this, it's not connected. But if I go in here, put this in, let's put it, I don't know, right there. Now it's connected. Or this can also happen. I've done this on accident, where you'll leave this in the submodel. That will move with it as well, even if it's not connected to the model. So make sure that your stuff is connected when you're moving it. And submodels are very useful in kind of organizing your thought process, especially when you start making instructions. Converting things into submodels will help you down the line of simplifying your instructions and making sure that when you connect certain things a certain way, that it works instead of like being a theoretical connection. So hopefully that makes sense. So that is my little quick tutorial. If you have any questions about how to do certain things of what I've explained, feel free to comment on this video. I'll try to get to as many of them as possible. If you have any questions or concerns, the r/digital Lego is a good place to check out. There is a digital Lego Discord group as well, I think, that you can probably find the link to. There's a lot of amazing builders there who could probably help you. I'm on there and I post every so often. So, yeah. That is the video for today. Thank you so much. Make sure, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. Socials in my description and all that. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.